As I work on the script involving a certain rendition of G1 Hound, what say we check out a more recent take on the Autobot Scout? Presenting Siege Hound. I'll touch on the Netflix redeco later, for reasons you may or may not be aware of at this point. The alternate mode is a Cybertronian Jeep, and while it, like a lot of Siege vehicles, still looks a little too Earth-like, I gotta give credit that they didn't just take Hound's classic Mitsubishi J59 form and tweak it a bit. It's a different design that still captures some essence of the character. Many have likened this to a Humvee, and given that it's pretty wide but still of reasonable length, it's not a bad comparison, though the windscreen and surrounding roll cage are not as tall. They did, however, work in a front winch assembly in reference to the J59, along with something of an interior with seats, though not even a Titan or Prime Master can fit inside. G1 Hounds seem to fluctuate between various greens, and this figure opts for a darker hue seen on the original toy. You also have Siege's trademark battle damage on the front bumper, along with other painted details like the head and tail lights. Most notably, this alien Jeep sports a general star, like the ones on Earth. Considering Hound is unlikely to get an Earth-based vehicle in this trilogy, this may be his way of blending in with those who have. And you know what? Outside of the arms hanging below, I generally dig the alt mode. As part of the combat system, Hound has a total of 17 5mm ports for weapon storage, and 5 3mm posts for effects parts. Several effects parts are also compatible with what is essentially Hound's holographic projector / missile launcher, dubbed the W5 Holo Beam Refraction Blaster in Siege. Hound also comes with the RT-10 IR Electroscope Launcher, which provides an extra 3mm post, as well as an ammo clip which can plug on either weapon. All three accessories can merge into the HD Vector Beam Mega Blaster. The ammo clip also pegs onto a post at the rear of the Jeep, like it doubles as a gas tank or something. Okay, I rarely talk QC issues, but I feel the need to here. Siege Hound's transformation is, in theory, complex, but not a pain in the skid plate. Like Titan's Return Cup and Dark of the Moon Deluxe Topspin, the sides of the vehicle fold up to form the lower legs. However, the snap-on hinges that connect the two halves of each side are slightly warped on mine, which, as is often the case with this QC issue, results in them popping off at times. Thankfully, this isn't widespread, as far as I know, but it's still the one downside of using such hinges. Something I noticed when looking up other G1 Hounds is that this is one of the few where the lower legs are bulkier than the feet, which themselves seem quite a bit smaller than usual. Either way, the shins look a little too buff, at least compared to the rest of him. If these sections, along with the corresponding wheels, could somehow fold up, problem solved, I'd say. As is, Siege Hound's robot mode still looks good, and if you're after a more muscle-bound version of the Scout, he's right up your alley. While not a complete reimagining like the Jeep, the robot mode throws in several visual twists to G1 Hound's design, beyond the beefier shins. The hood still forms the chest, with the headlights and grille facing forward. However, without the fenders, the chest is not quite as broad as usual, and the white general stars of his G1 toy have been transferred to his shoulders. For that to work, the shoulders themselves are now cubic, as opposed to cylindrical. The golden yellow stripes on the hood, chest, and forearms are now bronze, and of course, this mode reveals more painted battle damage. The head sculpt, on the other hand, is pretty spot-on show accurate, from the helmet to the gentle facial expression, appropriate for one of the more peaceful Autobots. Nearby you'll find 2 of those 5mm ports. This being Hound, I typically only plug in the holo projector, specifically on his right shoulder, though either weapon in either port works. And they actually stay on, unlike Universe Deluxe Hound's missile launcher. For articulation, the shoulders are universal joints. The upper arms and wrists swivel a full 360, as can the waist, providing you disconnect the backpack. It's not like it pegs in solidly anyway. The elbows bend about 90 degrees. The hips are ball jointed, with thigh swivels just below, though the latter don't have the best range. The knee bend and ankle tilts are something else, though for the former, any further than 90 degrees causes the inner shin panels to unpeg slightly. Also, the toes are hinged. Despite being ball jointed, the head can only really turn around and wiggle a little, but that's about it. The joint may as well have been a swivel, especially in hindsight considering, well, I guess I should bring this up now. Hound was one of many characters redecoed for the Netflix War for Cybertron trilogy range, with a color scheme based on his appearance in the Netflix series. I'm indifferent to the new deco, it's just a different take on the whole military theme with extra battle damage. However, the paint used for the weathering has somehow either seeped on or was intentionally applied to the neck stem and has thickened over time, resulting in an incredibly stiff joint, leading to a number of decapitations. T-Fanpage 101 made a video on this, go check it out, and you can actually watch it happen to Team Man 978, rated PG-13 for toy mutilation. While it may not apply to every copy, it's apparently cropped up enough that I'm staying far away from Netflix Hound. As should you. As for this version, well, I still prefer Universe Deluxe Hound for his robot mode and somewhat ingenious transformation, but if you can't get a hold of it, this is a pretty solid figure in its own right. Well, not so literally for me given those warped hinges, but I'll give this the benefit of the doubt and assume I just got unlucky. Overall, I give Siege Hound a silver medal, and I reiterate, only the Siege release. Don't worry, I have my sights on other Netflix figures.